In today's live stream video, I'm going to discuss buying things at the Goodwill Outlet, aka the bins, for resale. I'll have my guest share her tips and tricks to make us more profitable and successful resellers. Every Wednesday, I normally have a live stream video where I have other resellers come on and I discuss their businesses and have them give me their tips, tricks, and techniques to make us more profitable resellers. So if you're a reseller or interested in becoming a reseller, you are in the right place. I'm going to pop in the chat, guys, and say hello to a few people, and then we shall get started very shortly. I know Randy was here earlier. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate you being here. My guest is in the chat. Thank you, especially my guest, for being here. That's very important. Sharon, thank you for coming, and congratulations. A belated happy birthday to you. Lisa C., thank you for being here. Mike Flipping Goodies, appreciate you guys all being here. And even Craig, the land shark picker, is in the house. Harry Humstone is here. Harry is great at sourcing yard sales, so maybe we'll get some tips from him to share with him about the bins, because I know there's a bins in his area. So let me bring my guest on, and I'll have her introduce herself to the people that don't know you. Hello.
Hi, Adam. Hi, everybody in the chat.
For those of you that don't know, this is Beth, Reseller Rowboat. So, Beth, I want you to introduce yourself and tell the audience, the chat, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Beth. I live in Houston. I sell on eBay and Poshmark, and currently I'm selling clothing and appliance parts.
That's short.
That's me. I don't know what else to tell you. I have a YouTube channel, Reseller Rowboat, and I typically do a shipping live stream every Sunday night to show what's sold over the weekend. Don't have much time.
You're married, and you're a pet owner, and you live in the Houston area, Houston, Texas area.
Right. Hurricane center of the world.
Well,
so it's good to see everyone tonight. How are you doing tonight, Adam?
I'm doing well. Speaking of hurricanes, I'm going to an event up in Albany, New York. I think the storm that's coming up the coast is supposed to pass. I know it's heading towards Canada, but I think I'll be good. I'll be next Thursday. I tell you guys, I try to improve my reselling, and I try to improve my YouTube. So this is actually a YouTube convention that was supposed to happen last year. So it became virtual. So we're having it live this year. So I had picked up some new masks.
That's awesome.
I have a pair of pants on order. Hopefully it'll get here from Amazon on time, and have to do some wash and press some clothes, and I should be good to go.
It's awesome.
So guys, we're going to get a little bit into Beth's reselling business. She's made some changes and some improvements in her business. What I like to do is have the chat fill in a little bit till we get into I call it the meat and potatoes of the show. Like you see in the title, we're going to discuss the Goodwill Outlets, aka the bins. Everyone calls it the bins because if you've ever been to the bins, they typically wheel things out in these big blue bins and they rotate the stock. So we're going to talk about Beth's business, some of the things she's done to improve her business. Then we'll roll into the bins. And then, guys, if you have any questions for Beth or you have any comments about the bins or even feel free to share. I try to make this a pleasurable, nice place to be for you guys. So, chat away in the chat, whatever you want to talk about. We'll just keep it, G-rated. We're good to go. So, Beth, let's get into some of the changes that you've made in your business. And I understand you're doing quite a bit better with some of the changes that you've made.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing a lot better. In fact, this is what I touch on every Sunday night. So at the beginning of June, my 90-day total on eBay was $6,300 for 90 days. And now I'm up to $10,200 for my 90-day total. So I have grown.
I'm sorry.
6,300 for 90 days, which was in June.
Okay.
And so I use that as my benchmark because that's when I started the changes. And then every Sunday night, I show you where I'm at on my 90-day total. And then currently I'm up 26.2% from last month on eBay. I'm also doing really well on Poshmark right now. And so I'm real transparent with my numbers every Sunday night. So you're welcome to come and join me and see how I'm growing. And, it's really exciting. My goal was to get to 10,000 by December, and I've already hit that goal. So now I'm moving it to 12,000 for 90 days. And I look at the 90-day total because that's what's really important. I haven't had to experience a summer slowdown at all this year. And so I don't go by day. If I have a really bad day of sales, I just don't worry about it. Even a bad week of sales, I really look at that 90-day total.
Well, that makes sense. And again, I tell you guys that I try to monitor some of the other reselling chats, some of the other reselling shows. And
Yes, and I do have a full-time job. Lisa just mentioned that. Hi, great to see you here, Lisa. Do have a full-time job. I'm currently going into the office 2 days a week, and then the rest of the time I work from home. And so I'm doing eBay and my full-time job simultaneously. I'm not really blocking my time because the kind of job that I have, I really can't do that very well. So is a bit of a challenge. I have to do a lot of multitasking and make sure that I don't make any errors either on online sales or in my regular job. So it is a real challenge, especially at my age. I'm going to be 60 in February.
Well, happy birthday, early birthday. So,
So I can't believe I'm going to be 60. So you're asking me some of the changes. I have two major changes I think that have attributed my growth so far. The first one is I pick a number that I can, realistically do every day. And right now I'm up to 12 listings a day. No matter what, I list 12 new items every day. Anything else in addition to that goes into my drafts. So like right now I have 38 drafts, and starting in the morning, I will let 12 of those go live. So technically I have 3 days worth of drafts. So I could take 3 days off if I wanted to, and eBay would not know that I'm not working because I would make those drafts go live. In October, which is Friday, I'm going to move it to 13 because I want my store to grow in number of items. So if I list 12 today, but I sell 12 today, my store is not growing. So being consistent, instead of listing 20 items a day, and then the next day list 5, and then the next day list 10, that's very inconsistent. And I really believe that confuses eBay's algorithm. And when they see the same exact thing happening every day, I think that's when that has really improved my sales. The second thing that I think has improved is, and it's a little bit boring, but I have decided to carry the same things in my store. By that, I mean I have the same brands, the same sizes, the same styles. So people can keep coming back to my store over and over again, and they know that I will have plenty of Talbots, plenty of Catherines, plenty of Levi's. And so what that is ending up in is I'm getting a lot of bundle sales. Last night around 11 p.m., I sold 3 Catherine's tops to the same woman, and her total was $80. So she could see that I had other items in my store that were, her style, her size, and the brand that she liked. And also what's been happening lately is someone will buy like 3 pairs of jeans from me and they'll pay. And then I tell them, hey, I'm going to send you a refund because I'm going to combine shipping. Okay. I'll send you a little bit of money back. And they say, oh, I didn't realize these jeans were coming from the same seller. They weren't even in my store. So what's happening, because my listings, my titles are so consistent, they're the same exact thing for every item. When they search for that brand of jean or whatever, all of my listings are coming up basically together in the search. And so they're clicking, oh, I'll buy these, and then I'll buy these, and then I'll buy these. And they don't realize they're all coming from my store. See? So those two things I think have been the major changes. I've also started doing back in June 60-day free returns on most items. And I think that's helped a lot. So anyway, my returns have not been increased at all or anything like that. So it's not that big of a deal. It's just that it's just one more thing that I offer that a lot of eBay sellers don't. A lot of them will offer 30-day free returns. Will offer 60. So I don't know. I'm not sure that that's that big of a deal to them, but I'm trying to offer whatever people are, just trying to be so appealing to the buyer. I send out coupons every day for 20% off. I send out 25% coupons to all of my buyers who have bought something from me. And for those that you don't know, in October, eBay is going to allow us to send out like a mass coupon campaign to anyone who's ever purchased from us in the last several years, I'm pretty sure. So that's going to be really great because right now I'm having to send them one at a time. So
yeah, that's something maybe you can do a video on. I wasn't aware that you could do individual coupons. I knew you could have a coupon in your store, but I didn't realize you could send out you could contact your buyers.
And I've talked about this. This is what it looks like. It's just got the coupon code in. But someone was telling me in my live stream I should have that little thing that you can
QR
scan with
code.
your phone. I
QR
haven't
code.
figured out how to put that on here though. If anybody knows, contact me, because this is a coupon that I've already set up. I think if I set up a new coupon, I could probably put that little thing, but this coupon has already been set up and it doesn't expire for like 2 years. So I don't want to change it. You know, there's no way I can't. I don't want to change it.
Now, when you say
So,
you can't offer coupons, how are you? I mean, you're sending coupons with your sold items, right? Is that what you're doing?
right, I tape it to the item.
Gotcha.
And then also, about 2 weeks after they purchase from me, I send them one electronically. I just send coupon.
Oh, I
and
got
send
you.
the
So you
same
said some
coupon
kind of
to them.
program.
So if they threw this in the
if the new class
trash,
items sold within this time frame, I'm going to send them
yeah, give them time to get it. Make sure it's not somebody that I don't ever want coming back to my store. Like I had to block a buyer the other day. I don't want to send them a coupon.
Now, we're
Or
positive
international sales, I don't believe can use coupons. So when I go down, if it says international sale, I skip it. So if they threw this away or forgot about it, a couple of weeks later in their email box, they'll get another coupon. So, but anyway.
Now, while we're on coupons, just out of curiosity, I did not see this come through, and shame on me, I guess. Was that an email, or was that something in the message in your eBay messages, or how did you find out about the coupon?
I found out about coupons a couple of months ago, and then Maggie Doodle did a really good video on coupons, I think back in May or June, and I was very leery of them because whenever eBay puts out a new program, I like to wait a little while. Like this vacation mode thing right now that's going on, this time away, people are having some issues with it. So I will not use new programs until they get all the kinks worked out. And so after a couple of months, when I found out my friends were having good sales with coupons, about 1/3 of my sales are through coupons. So
really 1/3.
That's when I decided, I'm going to go ahead and try it, and it works. I mean, yeah. And you can go down in your sales and you can see it shows you who used a coupon. Now, they can't use them if you send them an offer or if they offer you something, because of course they're going to offer you whatever they want to pay. So they shouldn't get an extra $20.
I'm going to offer you $5 on a $15 item, and I want 20% off of that.
Yeah. If they want to pay $10 for something, they just need to give me an offer for $10 and not expect to get it for $8 with a coupon. Just offer me $8 if that's what you want to pay. So.
Randy's posting something in the chat. Randy, I just want you to clarify that. Is that to make a coupon, or is that with the QR code? I'm not exactly sure. He said there's a.
Yeah, Sharon, thank you. She sent me a link to that. I thought you could do that from eBay. I guess I misunderstood that. I thought eBay would generate that code for you, but thank you for the link, Randy. Thank you for sending that to Sharon, and thank you for sending that to me. I'm just curious if I can put it on an existing coupon that's already in there. So, I mean, I could end this coupon, I guess,
right,
and start another one and just use the same code. I mean, I just haven't thought about it.
Sharon said you can. Okay, there was a QR code, and Sharon saying you can do that from eBay too.
But that's what I thought. But when I went into this coupon after it was already made, I couldn't see a place to put one. Is my question. And see, I don't shop on eBay from my phone. And so I'm not used to using something like that. I shop from Amazon on my phone, but not from eBay. So I wasn't thinking about people who shop on their phone, but it has been proven that a lot of people shop on eBay from their phone. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Just like YouTube, it's somewhere crazy number. Like 90% of the people that watch YouTube watch it on either their phone or mobile or tablet.
Yeah.
I find it crazy, but I'm sure they got the numbers. I mean, YouTube is Google, Google's YouTube, so I'm sure they got their numbers right.
Thank you, Sharon. I'll get with you on that, because I think that would probably help my sales a little bit on the repeat buyers. So
okay.
But anyway, I do promoted listings, and that's I run sales every day, and I mean, I do everything just to try to appeal to whoever.
Okay, and a couple other things. I want to get, like I said, I want to get into the meat and potatoes, but I want to fill up the chat. And it looks like we're getting to where we want to be with the chat. So we'll always like to have more people, but it seems like this is the good time. Let's get started. Actually, a couple other things. You're part of a what you call it, an accountability group that's helped your business, a reselling group.
Yeah, it's a Patreon group, and what I like about it is, and if you are interested in learning more about it, you can always message me, but they do a lot of experimentation. And so you get to see what has worked and what has not. And so it's like you're not wasting your time, and messing up your store and let other people mess up their store, right? And, so, it's accountability and is what it is. And it's just really helped me a lot. So I'm looking at eBay so much more differently. I'm not becoming attached to my items anymore. It's literally an assembly line. I do the same thing every day. My process is exactly the same. I just run it through that system and I don't get attached to it. I have a price point that I know I want to sell these items for. It's the same for almost every item, no matter how much it's really worth, because I don't sell high-end items, Adam. You know that. I spend $1.75 on a piece of clothing, and if I get a $10 offer, I take it.
Okay.
I just take it.
Fast times as opposed to slow quarters.
I move on. I take the money and I go next week, I buy something else, and I'm not getting attached to my items, and
Right.
it's just how it's going.
I interrupt you for 1 second.
Kimmy's here.
I want to say to Kimmy, hello, and to Noelle. Noelle, long time no see. I appreciate you ladies being
Noelle's here. Hey, Noelle.
I really missed you too, and I appreciate you popping into the chat.
It's great to see both you gals. Kimmy, I need to know when you're coming back. I missed you on Labor Day, girl. J. Marie, hi. How are you? Yeah, I missed Kimmy on Labor Day. I was having this huge party, and I thought she might stop by, but I know she got busy, and that's fine. But
sometimes
I missed
life
her.
gets in the way, Beth. We all know that.
It was crazy here that day, though. Oh my gosh, we had an open bar and it was nuts. I had like 27 people here.
Holy cow. Okay, so, well, let's get in. Like I said, let's get into the meat and the potatoes. I'm going to have Beth talk about the Goodwill Outlets, or the bins, as it's affectionately called. And then I did some research. I tell you guys, I watch other reselling videos, and I'm involved in some of the groups, kind of monitor the groups, and I made a list of some tips and tricks that I learned from myself personally. I don't do a lot of the bins because to me it's a lot of standing around. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities there, but you guys know I have some kind of health issues, so it's a little difficult for me to do the bins. But there's absolutely a lot of opportunities, and again, your mileage may vary. And I want to get into the bins with Beth and maybe some of her tips and tricks. And
I tell you what, I was really lucky that I hadn't hurt my foot last weekend when I went to the bins, because I don't know how I would have done it. I hurt my foot last week, and
right. Then you went to the bins, and you also went to your high school reunion, right?
Yeah, and I just don't know how I would have done the bins like that. My foot was just huge. I couldn't get a shoe on. So what do you want to know about the bins? Like, because I don't.
Well, again, I just want to get a little bit about the basics and what you look for. And again, you're telling me, you're always, which I love about you, Beth, and it's smart. And I always screw up this quote, but it's the kind of like the definition of insanity. If you do the same, again, I'm screwing this up a little bit, but from Albert Einstein, if you do the same thing repeatedly and expect different results, that's insanity.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the same results if you keep doing the same thing over and over again. And one of the things I learned in college, it was an expensive lesson. The only thing that is permanent is change. So you're always retooling your business, always trying to
Yeah, so I actually got this at the bins. I'm just one big freaking ray of sunshine, aren't I? Since I'm, changing my business model, Adam, I'm looking. It's really hard for me when I went to the bins because, I used to be getting like the Afghans, the jelly cats, and things like that. And so when I went last week, I went to 2 different bins in Austin. I just had to span my eyes over those things and just stay away from the temptation. I wanted them, but I let somebody else have them because my business model is changing and it's not going to be good for my business if I sink my money into things that aren't what I'm, supposed to be selling. So, I haven't been to the one in Houston since last year. I don't like to go to the Houston bins. If any of you are in Houston, it was $2.59 a pound, which is absolutely ridiculous. But I did like their processes there. So for those of you that don't know what the bins is, they just roll out these big, huge blue tubs on wheels. and normally there's like a starting line. You can't take your cart down the aisle, and when all the stuff's rolled out, they say go, and everybody just runs. It's crazy.
Yeah, the carts are left along the wall or some special
you
area.
can't take a
I'm gonna
cart
get into that a
because
little
it
bit
would run
later.
everybody over, right? Well, in Houston, they did it differently, which I loved it. They had no starting line. They would bring the bins out, and then everybody just stood in front of the bin they wanted to look at first, and you put your hands to your side. You couldn't touch the bin.
Put your hands to your side, everybody.
Yeah. And then they said go. And then you started looking. So it was much more civilized. Nobody got trampled. It was great. But the prices were so freaking high. Another thing I liked about the Houston bins is they had a light flashing. And that was the next row that they were going to be changing. And they always changed them in order. If any of you have gone to the bins, you stand there trying to figure out, okay, where are they going to change the bins next? Where, you're trying to figure. In Houston, when you walk in the door, you see that light flashing, they're getting ready to take that row away. So you might want to go check that row out first before they take it away. And you want to go in the row in front of it because that they just brought that row out right before you walked in the door.
So they have some kind of system in place, some kind of rotation, which obviously helps you.
Yeah, I really like that. I wish, in fact, I've told the people at the Austin bins, you really need to talk to the Houston people because this is nuts, So I'm not aggressive. I don't know about the people in the chat, but I am not an aggressive person. So I'm not going to run people over, and I'm not going to grab, and I'm just not going to do it. And plus, I'm looking for appliances primarily. So I have an IKEA bag. And so for me to run and grab, I can't grab 2 or 3 machines. It's impossible for me to do that and not drop a carafe or something, you know what I mean, and put it in the bag. I can't do that. So I stand back and I shop the bins that have already been gone through. And I shop some of the same bins 2 or 3 times. I stand behind the people and I watch to see what they're putting to the side that I want. And then as soon as they move, I rush in and grab it. And then I come back later because a lot of times they've moved things around and I find something that I didn't see before.
You're stealing a lot of my tips here, Beth. I have almost half the things you said I have on my list.
Sorry.
We'll get to that later.
I'm so sorry.
That's
and then
good. We're on the same wavelength here.
A lot of times I'll find part of a machine and I'll look for parts that go with that machine. And then I can't find all the parts. So then I'll come back later to see if I missed any of the parts that I know go to that machine. So
that's another one of my tips. Son of a gun.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's good. That's good. I have the right tips, Dan. You're repeating what I'm saying. And again, Beth is experienced with the bins.
I love you, Sharon. I love Sharon so much. So anyway, that's so I primarily am right now looking for appliance parts, but the last week I was there, as you saw my Instagram, I struck out really big time. And so then I started looking for clothing and not the Afghans and all that. So here's one that always sells for me. This is a Disney Eeyore women's flannel pajamas. These don't have feet in them, but it's got the tail.
No feet.
But what I don't like about this is photographing it because you can't hang it by its ears. And then if you hang it by its ears, then it drags the ground and you can't get a good picture. So this is going to be pretty much a flat lay photo. And I don't like the way the photos come out, but they always sell. And then I got a lot of jeans there, and I paid more there for jeans than I do at my thrift store on Thursday. I'm doing Fridays now. Yeah. But I got a lot of distressed jeans there, and so I like that. These are
you do well
these
to
are Lucky Brand, and they're real distressed. And
is that Levi's?
So yeah, and so they're $1.49 in Austin, so that's a lot better than $2.59 in Houston.
I want to ask you about that. Most of the people in the chat are experienced resellers, but not all of us have been to the bins, and hopefully there's some newer resellers that are watching my videos. Why don't you get into a little bit about, and I know, like I said, every bin could be a little different. Your bin, your miles may vary. Some have different prices per pound. Some have certain categories. I was watching a video the other day and they said, well, you buy 20 hard goods. I don't know what particular hard goods she's talking about, but you get 20 for $20. So if you buy 5, it's $20. If you buy 10, it's $20. If you buy 20, it's $20. So obviously your cost of goods decreases if you're buying 20 when it's 20 for X amount of dollars. And then I know certain things like I know at my bins, certain electronics are individually priced. So if they have like a combo, DVD, a VHS player, it could be $14.99, stickered on the shelf.
Now I say ours are $2.59 in Houston, and that was last year. They could have lowered it. When they first opened, they wanted 50 cents a book. And I said, 50 cents a book. I said, I can go to Austin, and visit my granddaughter and get 5 for a buck or 99 cents. And they finally took them down.
At Goodwill?
Yeah, at the bins. So I noticed later they took them back down to 99. They took them to 99 cents for 5 of them, because I guess they just weren't selling that well at that price. A lot of things that are priced separately for us are like lawn equipment, furniture, bicycles, things like that are, a flat price, not by weight.
Okay.
And I think the glassware is a lot cheaper than.
I think that's what she was talking about, glassware or ceramics or something. It was like 20 pieces for $20. So she said, you buy 5, you're going to pay 20. If you buy 10, 20. If you buy 20, it's 20. So obviously you want to, try to get up to that 20 items. You're paying $1 a unit.
But it's just like all over, all the Goodwills are different all over, just a regular Goodwill store. So why should the bins be any different,
I have to tell me
right?
specific stores, but the prices per pound vary. You said $2.59 on what's the lowest price you pay per pound?
$1.49 in Austin.
$1.49. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I go, and I just stop on my way home from, seeing my granddaughter. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you're looking again. That's one of my things I put in my tips, that there's a lot of competition for clothing. Yet you say you kind of stand back and wait for everybody to sift through all the things, and then you go in and you kind of look for certain things.
Yeah, I'm just not.
There's a lot of
into all
competition
that.
for clothing at your bins.
Well, I did last weekend because I couldn't find very many parts. I was like, I came all the way here. I might as well, see if they have any clothing. I got a lot of really nice Wranglers. They were like brand new. I got like 6 pairs of women's Wranglers that, they were brand new. And,
Wranglers are kind of a hot brand now. All of a sudden, it's kind of,
I got some,
to my mind, making a resurgence.
I got some J. Crew, and but yeah, it was not real profitable last weekend, but it's okay because I go up there anyway, so I drive right by it. I'm not gonna not stop. And if I do really well at one bins, then I don't go to the other one. I just go home. So, which is what I should have done last weekend instead of standing in line for almost an hour to check out. But that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I think you shared with me in pre-chat. I don't know if you mentioned I don't think you mentioned it in the live chat, but you said there was one cashier and there was like 11 people in line.
Yeah, I was like 11th in line. There was one cashier. When I got up there, I just told her, I said, you are doing an awesome job. I felt so bad for her. Every time she would get a customer, there'd be some kind of problem. And people were getting really bent out of shape. I almost left, but I thought, no, I spent all this time, getting this stuff. I might as well pay for it. And I was like an hour late getting home. So, but yeah, I don't like looking for clothes at the bins because it's all the stooping over, and all the pushing the piles and all that. I'd rather stand and just go I go really fast on the racks at the thrift store, like super fast.
Well, yeah, if you get a routine, if you're doing a regular basis,
sometimes I'll take like 10 at a time. I'll take 10 items and I'll just go and then 10 or like really fast. And it's just, I don't like it. I don't like shopping for clothes at the bins, but some people love it, and some people stay all day, and they have snack bars there. And, if you get hungry or whatever. I think the longest, Chick Baker and I were at the bins one time in San Antonio, and I think we stayed 3 hours, and I was about to die. And she was like going through every single bin, and I was like, I'm ready to go, Valerie. And she's just like, I haven't even done half of it yet. I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I thrifted 115 items the other day in 3 hours at the thrift store.
115 items?
Yeah, at the thrift store. That was super,
Holy cow.
And that was with a bad foot. That was like the day after I hurt my foot. And my wife's like, you're not going to go today, are you? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going. Like, there's nothing going to stop me from going because I have to have inventory.
Yeah.
And I did really well. I babied it all the way for 3 hours, and then I got in the car and I hit it on the damn door frame. And I was like,
Oh, jeez.
God.
Well, at least you did curse out in the binge. You cursed out in your car.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to cuss on your channel. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, so I don't know. Because a couple weeks ago I was telling people I ran myself over with the cart, and I'm like, I was so careful not to run over my foot with my cart, but then I got to the car and
So your strategy is you kind of hang back and wait for the bins to go out.
Yeah.
And then you kind of pick through once everybody kind of digs in it.
Yeah. And I know I probably don't get all the good stuff, but I get some good stuff,
You
and
got to do what works for you.
I still, and sometimes with the parts, you'll go and you'll just find tons of them. And sometimes you'll go and they're already gutted. In fact, one guy the other day asked me if I had a screwdriver, and I said no. And he was wanting to take apart some electronic and get some part out. Somebody lent him one because his kid was over there unscrewing things.
I can see taking a craft or a little part out of the appliance,
but and like I told you, I don't get the feet off the machines in the bin at the bins. I don't bring a pair of pliers or anything because, I dropped my phone a couple of years ago at the bins into the bin, and I lost my cell phone.
I remember that.
And so, yeah, that was bad. And I didn't even know how to get home. I didn't have a GPS, And so now I just keep very few things in my pocket. So I don't want to put a pair of pliers in my pants. I have
another one of my tips, Beth.
Keys in one.
Stay tuned for my tips at the end of the show.
Debit card in the other, my phone in the other, and that's it. I don't want to keep track of anything else. If I pull it out, I might drop my credit card or my phone or, so, but that's why.
I'm sorry. What about gloves?
I don't do gloves.
You don't do gloves.
What I do is every once in a while I go into the bathroom with a hand sanitizer and I go in there and sanitize my hands. And
but you don't use gloves and you're digging on the bottom of the bins.
Yeah, and there
could be broken glass and broken
I found very sharp knives in there.
That too.
I don't think I guess a pair of work gloves would help you with that. But if you're looking for clothes, wearing thick gloves is not going to help because then you can't feel the fabric.
Well,
so that's not going to be very useful. And also with the parts, it would be difficult for me to take everything apart and manipulate. And so but I do sanitize my hands.
What's going on in the world? It's like there's broken glass and things in those bins.
Yeah, I wear a mask, but I still think when I had that eye infection last month that got so bad, I still think that was from either being at the bins or thrift store, and I possibly touched my eye and didn't know it. It was really bad. It was a bad infection, and it took a long time.
That's one of the tips I have, and and I'll get into it later. But having some kind of fanny pack or something, having hand sanitizer, tissues.
And then I have hand sanitizer in my car.
Water, bottle of water.
I have water.
Something to clean your hands with.
I have to take. I take 3 IKEA bags in there now. Since I'm not shopping for all those other things. I used to take like 6, and it's a good thing I do because sometimes I get in there and there's no carts, and I'll be walking around for 30 minutes without a cart. Some people have 2 or 3 carts against the wall. And and I'm standing there trying to, put stuff in my bag. And when it starts getting heavy, I get frustrated. So, but yeah, carts are a real commodity.
Hello. Thanks for being here. Be carried away. Appreciate you stopping by.
Carried away. Nice to see you.
About to go to the bins for the first time next week. Congratulations.
Well, good. If you have any questions, let me know.
You have to watch the beginning too. I'm gonna have a bunch of tips, but Beth's more experienced with the bins than I am. But I have been to the bins several times.
You either like it or you hate it, truthfully.
But I come up with your
philosophy
too. I mean, sometimes, and it depends on your personality. Sometimes people just like jump in. It's like, a feeding frenzy, like sharks to the. And other times, like you said, you kind of lay back and let everybody jump in, and then you kind of pick through the things that they missed.
The first time I went with Alma from My Thrifted Escape. I don't know how many of you remember Alma. And I took my daughter with me and I said, look for this, and this. And the first time she reached in the bin and felt something wet, she said, I'm done. I'm sitting out. You and Alma can just do all you, I'm done. And she's never gone back. That doesn't really bother me. I mean, it bothers me, but I'm not a germaphobe, so it doesn't bother me as much as it does other people.
Well, that's the other thing too. And again, I keep coming back to that, but especially people with allergies and things, there's dusty things, there's moldy things, and God knows what's in some of these bins, and I hear people saying all the time, like you said, you touched your face and you got whatever, you got something on your eye or what, you gotta be careful. I mean, it's just, and you're in
I'm
the
real
frenzy,
bad
you're
about
kind of like in the
touching my
treasure
face.
hunt, you go all wrapped up in it. That's why I asked you if you wore gloves, because again, I understand with clothing, it's hard to feel fabrics and things when you have gloves on, but if I'm digging the bottom of the bins, I'm going to have some kind of gloves.
When the P word first started, I did wear rubber gloves, and it just hindered me. It took me so much longer to do things, to, move things around and take pictures. You're trying to hit that button on the camera because, I take pictures of all the parts, and then when you have a glove on your finger, trying to take a picture it's hard. You have to make sure you get that picture, and it was just taking me longer. And so finally I quit wearing them. Yeah.
So, and as Sharon put that in, I'm going to get in shortly, guys. If you have any questions for Beth, why don't you bring them up now, and then I'll get into my list of things that like I said, I've researched and I've been to the bins and I've watched some videos and I went through a bunch of things. I said, well, what I feel is important. I made a list of things that I feel are important. So if you have any questions for Beth, why don't you pop them in there? One thing I want to do, guys, while we're kind of filling out the questions you have for Beth, I'm just going to pop in two things I want to remind you about before I forget. Beth is younger than me, but has a better memory than I do. But just a reminder, those of you that have an eBay store subscription, tomorrow, Thursday, September 30th is the last day you can use your third quarter store supply coupon. So if you have not used your store supply coupon as of yet for the third quarter, tomorrow's the last day. Use it or lose it. One other thing I'm going to do is pop this in the chat, guys. I'm going to do a share screen, and then again, we'll monitor the chat for any questions. I'm going to do a share screen again. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but again, this is something that's important to all of us, and I want to share it with you guys. So I'll put that up momentarily. Okay. Make that full screen. Okay, guys. The reason I pulled this up is the USPS is having a post price increase on our shipping. You can probably see it if you want to read along. The planned peak season pricing, which was approved by the governors of the Postal Service on August 5th, will affect prices on commercial and retail domestic competitive parcels, Priority Mail Express, Priority Mail, First Class Package Service, Parcel Select, USPS Retail Ground, and Parcel Return Service. International products will not be affected, or so will be unaffected, I should say. Again, so this takes place on 12 a.m. this Sunday, October 3rd, and will be in place till 12 a.m. Basically the day after Christmas, December 26th. And just a reminder, they're pulsing the rates, and then they're going to take a price increase again come January. So keep that in mind, guys. If you have fixed pricing on some of your items, keep it in mind that the prices will be going up. So again, plan accordingly. So
I do have one thing to share. If you let me share my screen for a second. This right here, I got it at the bins last weekend, and it sold for $37.98. It's a Cabela's wool shirt, so you can get some really good brands there. And I didn't, that would have been a bin that somebody had already been through. So
that's something like you said, you kind of stand back, and I was left in the bin.
It wasn't a pound, and it was $1.49 a pound, so I didn't even pay $1.50 for that, and it sold for $37.98, and it sold in a couple of days. So
that's great. So you turn the dollar into roughly.
It's not junk,
Even with fees and everything, you made close to $30 on that.
Yeah, I mean there's some junk there.
I forgot to ask you. You do charge for postage, right?
Yes, I charge for postage.
Okay.
So there is some junk in there, granted, but there's some good finds there.
Okay, I'm scrolling through the chat, guys, to see if there were. I don't see there were any questions. So Sharon, Randy, Michelle, if I missed some, let me know. I don't think there are any.
Hey,
questions.
Michelle, I didn't see you here.
Hi, Michelle's here. Michelle is one of my moderators. She's
I'm not watching the chat, so
that's okay, Beth. Concentrate on the show. You can always watch the replay. I'm just teasing you. Beth and I are friends. We've been friends since 2017, 2018. We met at
2018.
eBay Open.
Yeah. Do you think they'll have another one next year?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I know they tried those little mini events and they didn't go over so well, and then they had to cancel them, obviously, with what's going on in the world.
Right. Yeah.
My goal was eventually to get back to Las Vegas. I share with, I think I might have shared even my last show. I used to go to I forget what I tell you guys and what I tell my friends, but I probably told you the chat before. I used to go to Vegas twice a year back in the day when I was single. I wasn't mingling, but I was single and I wasn't dating anybody. So my company, back when I was in wine and liquor sales, we used to close 2 weeks out of the year for quote unquote state inventory in January and in August. Mm-hmm. So I used to go like twice a year. So I've been to Las Vegas probably 25 times over the years. The last time I was in 2000, and I guess that was 18. I didn't go. They didn't have it in 2019. So 2018 was the last time I was to Las Vegas. But eventually, I'm planning on going back. There is a question in the chat. Let's see here. Okay, how long do you usually plan to stay at the bins? Good question. Do 3 hours usually at a regular thrift store? Just curious.
Is that for me?
I
usually
Goodwill
stay.
Outlet bins expert.
Yeah, well, I usually stay about 2 hours, but that's because I'm on time crunch because I need to get home from Austin. So if I'm going to go to 2 bins, then I have to, it's like 30 minutes between them. So I'll stay like an hour and a half to 2 hours at each one, unless I'm just doing really, really well. Depends on what you're shopping for. Be carried away. Like, if you're in how aggressive you are, if you want electronics and you've been doing really well and they keep bringing out those electronics, just stay, go get a Coke or something while you're waiting for them to bring out another, and then, like I said, at my age and everything, the standing is tough for me. And
that's my issue.
It's just not something that I, and when I was younger,
and then you're reaching and you're bending and,
yeah, it's,
I
still have a 3 hour, I still have a 3 hour car ride. I still have a 3 hour ride home. So I have to really be careful. Now, if I went to the Houston bins, maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours, because it's only 2 miles down the road. So I could go back the next day and the next day and the next day, so if I'm really doing well, I'll just stay until it starts drying up. In Houston, I used to ask them, hey, are you going to bring out any more books? That was when I was sourcing books, because if you're not, I'm leaving, and they would tell me, no, we don't have any more books for the day. And I'm like, okay, well, then I'm leaving, sometimes you can ask them that. Sometimes they'll be honest with you. Sometimes they don't know, what they're bringing out. But
yeah, like you said, it depends on the bins too. Sometimes it's like scatterbrains. They'll bring a bin out and you wait like 2 hours to bring another one out, or they'll bring one out in an hour, another one out in an hour. And it seems like some places there's no rhyme or reason. And you ask them and they won't tell you. At least the bins I've been to.
Jay Marie, the place that I thrift on Fridays now is like the size of a Kmart. And I'm usually there 3 hours, and I don't even get through half the store. So if I wanted to stay 6 hours, I could probably get through it, but I don't have that kind of time because I have to get home to be here for my boss. So he just knows that on Fridays I'm off the computer for 3 hours, and I have an assistant who's, checking emails for me. He doesn't know where I am, but he just knows I have an obligation. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get in the guys and my tips and tricks that I wrote down, and that was one of be carried away. If you don't mind putting your first name in the chat, so I'll write it down. I'll try to remember. I keep a spreadsheet. I need to, when we get older, we got to do these kind of things. But anyway, I appreciate you being here. Why don't you if you don't mind, put your first name in the chat. And, appreciate you coming in and asking questions. It's we like I said, Randy. I always mention Randy every chat, and Randy says that Randy's a very experienced reseller and has a great business model, and he says he learns quite a bit just from the chat. I mean, a lot of times the questions come up in the chat or comments come in the chats over and above. I mean, I think I have great guests on, but you learn from the chat as well. That's why I like you guys sharing information in the chat as well. Mm-hmm. So let me get into I guess, is there anything else you want to share about the bins? Were you thinking about it, Beth, or do you have any other?
No, probably when you say something, it might spark an idea or something.
So, yeah. Okay, yeah, might spark your memory. Okay, yeah. I'm just going to go over, guys, some of the tips and tricks. And again, I tell you guys, I've been to the bin several times. I haven't had a lot of success. I think your mileage may vary. It depends on what you're looking for. I think if you get in like a regular routine, you kind of figure out how things are done at the various bins, and you kind of go. So when that guy always looks for like Legos, and that guy's always looking for shoes, and that guy's always looking for electronics, and that person's always looking for jeans. So you kind of get an idea, and then you kind of maybe get a feel as when they bring the bins out. But I'm going to go over some of the tips. Like I said, I from my experience and watching other resellers and watching reselling videos on the bins, I'm just going to go through some things. And Beth mentioned about half of them. So I'll just go over my list relatively quickly, guys, and share that with you as well. Okay, my first tip, and again, I mentioned earlier about the gloves, is dig down to the bottom of the bins. A lot of these videos that you watch about the bins, they say that people miss things sometimes, but sometimes things are underneath the things. So dig to the bottom of the bins. Beth doesn't wear gloves. I recommend wearing gloves. Again, look up unknown items. Again, that's kind of like at any retail or thrift store. You want to look up things you're not familiar with. You want to, check it on the app or whatever. Make sure you research before you purchase it. Another tip, which I thought was great, that came up in one of the videos is the item you are buying worth what you're paying based on its weight? If something is very heavy, obviously, and it's based on weight, you're paying more for that item. So you have to consider the weight of the item. And again, it's going to cost you more to ship it, obviously. And so you have to keep that in mind. Another tip that came up was look for unusual items. I guess that's something you would do at a regular thrift store as well. Here's something as well that you want to make sure that you definitely look for. And I always have problems, especially with clothing when I shop at thrift stores. But make sure you look for damage just like you would at a normal thrift store. Keep in mind that the lighting isn't always good. So try and examine the item near the windows with natural sunlight. Again, guys, I don't know how many times when I first started reselling, and even as experienced resellers, you hear it all the time. You missed something, a piece of clothing, a stain, or maybe the seam was undone, or there was a hole that you missed. It happens. So again, you can put the stuff in your cart or your bag or whatever, and then make sure you check it, in natural sunlight before you leave. Here's another thing about stains. When thinking of buying something that is stained or damaged, consider your time to clean and or repair it. Just because you pay so little for it doesn't mean it's worth purchasing. Again, guys, I always say your time is your most valuable asset. Time is money. Consider, is it worth me taking the time to clean this up? How much I'm going to get for it? I mean, maybe I'm only paying $1, but if I spend an hour trying to clean this and I still got to redonate or throw it out, was it worth my hour of time to try to, if I'm only going to make $5 or $6 or $7 on the item? Probably not. Another great tip, make a list of things to look for. You can break it down into categories like glassware. What sold or BOLO videos are good for this? Save the list in your smartphone. So if you're not familiar with certain things, and maybe you're watching a video with somebody, one of your favorite resellers, and they say, guys, this is a great thing. I picked it up at the thrift store. I picked it up at the Goodwill Outlet, and I made a huge amount of money on this. Keep this in mind on your travels when you're out shopping. So again, I can't remember everything, so you make a list, save it in your smartphone, and then you can maybe review it the night before, or when you get in the parking lot, maybe review that list on your smartphone. Another tip, again, this is kind of like a tip that would work as well for thrift stores, plug in electronics to test them before purchasing. Again, you don't want to buy something electronic, a DVD player or, combo DVD VHS player or some kind of stereo equipment if it's not working. So again, there's usually some kind of outlets you can find along the wall. So you want to make sure you plug in electronics and make sure they're working. Again, that applies to regular thrift stores as well. I brought this up earlier in the chat. Wear good quality gloves. There's often sharp things and or broken glass at the bottom of the bins. And also brought this up earlier. Wear a mask. It may be required due to the pandemic. Keep in mind, people will be right next to you digging for treasures. Also, items can be dusty, moldy, etc. Another tip, if you're buying a game or puzzle, check for parts. It may be at the bins because it's incomplete. I mean, maybe that's why it's at the bins, because it didn't sell at the retail stores, so they shipped it to the bins. Another thing is recommend bringing a small backpack with you. Have water, tissues, hand sanitizer, etc. in there. If you don't want to get that involved, you could use like a fanny pack. And again, I mentioned earlier about having hand sanitizer, tissues, maybe a bottle of water in there, things that you need. Maybe you have a magnifying glass, or Beth's talking about having a screwdriver, for the things that she picks up for parts. So again, you can put all those little things, stick your wallet in there, or maybe not your wallet, maybe just your credit card and your driver's license or whatever. Don't bring in a handbag or a big wallet. Don't bring that into the bins with you. Lock that in your car, or maybe leave it at home and just bring what you have to have with you. Like I said, then put it maybe in a fanny pack. What else? Oh, open wallets, purses, etc. If you find wallets or purses in the bins, look inside, just like you would in a thrift store. You may find money in them. You never know. If you find something valuable, but it's missing a part or a piece, pick it up and look in the other bins while you're shopping. You can always return it to the bins if you don't find that part. Consider stepping out of your comfort zone. Just like you would at a normal thrift store. If you find something very valuable and are paying very little for it, consider purchasing it. Maybe maybe you don't typically sell clothing, but you find something that's very valuable and you said, you know what? I'm only paying $1.50 for this. Let me give it a shot. I mentioned before, there's typically a lot of clothing buyers there. So just remember, there could be a lot of competition for those items. When deciding whether to purchase something, use your eBay or Amazon apps or try Google Lens. Guys that came up in the chat in a couple shows, people are having a lot of success with Google Lens. I actually used it the other day at a yard sale, and it worked really well for me. So keep that in mind. Beth brought this up in one of her tips. IKEA bags are a bins shopper's best friend. Those big blue IKEA bag guys work wonders at the bins. I bring several to the store with you if it were me. And again, this is a pro tip, and I'm going to end with this pro tip. Cover your shopping cart with a sheet or a blanket, etc. Doesn't mean no one will take your items, but hopefully it will discourage them from doing so.
I checked a couple off my list that you just mentioned. In San Antonio, they still have outlets. In Austin, they've covered all the outlets up.
Okay.
And that's also what I do is whenever I find a blanket, I take it. And that way, when I go to the restroom, I can cover my cart and nothing's taken, hopefully. Another thing is if you find a piece of clothing that has some kind of mark on it, or I don't know, not a stain, like jeans, sometimes they have like crusty stuff on them. What I do is I go in the restroom and I get a paper towel and I get it wet with a little bit of soap. And then I go back out to my cart and I just go back and forth to see if it's going to come up. Because if it's going to come up, then I know I can take it home and wash it. And it'll be okay. But if I can't, and I put my fingernail in between the ridges of the jeans or whatever it is. I would do that. And if it doesn't even start to separate, I put it back in. Because like I said, I don't carry anything. I don't carry baby wipes with me. Or baby wipes would be great for that, just to rub over something, just to see if it's going to lift, And then also you mentioned
could probably even take like those Clorox wipes or something, maybe put it like in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah. And then another thing you were mentioning, looking bags, I found in a suitcase in San Antonio, I opened up a suitcase and there were all these beautiful glass dice. There were like 25 of them. They were all different colors. And I made a lot of money on those things and just opened the suitcase and there they were. So yeah, always do that. I know it is gross.
Mary says gross. I agree. It's just so gross, Sherry. Beth, what's up with her with these gross ideas?
Sorry.
I'm just teasing, guys. I love Beth.
Home if I think I can't get the thing
I don't know. I'll be rubbing the areas of the men's or ladies' pants with the not me.
No. Well, I'm not doing it on the butt, but on the leg. A lot of times you'll
on the legs. You didn't say that. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times on the legs you'll see something where somebody's dropped something,
like a food stain or something.
You don't want, if you can't get it out.
I don't know where my mind went, but
with
I
a little soap and water,
it's
probably not. It may not come out at home. So, although I did use Folex the other day, I missed a stain. It was pink, and I don't know what it was. And I tried stain remover, and it didn't come out. But the Folex that I use for my plushes,
what is it? Folex?
Instantly. Folex.
Yeah, can you type in the chat, or do you have it handy? Or
here. Normally, this is what I use for stains, but it didn't come out with this. So I used Folex because this is what I use to clean my plushes. And I don't normally put this on clothes because it's kind of strong, but I really didn't want to throw that shirt out. And I put this on there and it just came up immediately off. It was a white and blue plaid shirt. And so, but yeah,
Is
this
that
is
something
great
you
for
can buy at like
plushes,
Walmart,
guys.
or you have to buy it online, or
Yeah,
what?
you can get this at Walmart, and I think you can get this at Walmart too. But this is great for plushes. It's
Put
never
that up.
failed
Can
me.
you put the brown and gold one up again, close on the screen?
S32.
S32.
Yeah, I put that on.
But you use that on clothing, you said.
Yeah, Amelia from Amelia Sells is the one that turned me on to this, and she's able to get spots out immediately, but I've never had luck with this. Always have to put it on, rub it, and then put it in the wash.
Okay, so you kind
And
of
she's been
pre-treat it
able
and then
to
you wash
remove
it.
them. Yeah. So, but yeah, this stuff's really good. It's better than spray and wash, definitely. Or
Okay.
shout. It's better than
Two great
shout.
pro tips, guys. Again, I'm not a big clothing seller. I know some of you are, and again, that's some pro tips.
Okay, you
So,
want one more pro tip? I had this on my Instagram. I'll go ahead and show this. This is my new apron. And I wear it's just like a waitress apron.
Okay.
I got it for like $5 on Amazon. I wear this when I'm working, and especially when I'm photographing. So because I'm always putting my phone down and forgetting where it was, my color wheel, stickers. I have all kinds of things that I use when I'm photographing. And so I keep them in the pockets, and that way I don't have to keep putting things down. And I'm going to get a little pair of dull scissors to put in here, because you know how when you're photographing things, you'll see a little string. So then I always have to run over here to my drawer and get my scissors. Well, I'm just going to get a pair of really dull scissors,
like the rounded
keep in
tip
there and
scissors?
snip it, put it back in my pocket, and I don't have to waste time going back and forth to snip something.
With the color wheel, you're using the color wheel when you're taking pictures of your clothing?
I'm still using color wheel, but I'm also using crayons. I got a 64 count crayon box, because there are some shades like some different shades of burgundy and greens that are not on the color wheel. They're not showing. So I have my crayons in case it's a real specific color and I want to match it.
Well, I haven't been a toddler for a long time. Did they actually list on the crayon that the type of color it is?
Yeah, and I make sure that the name of the crayon color is in the photo.
How about that?
Like it'll say periwinkle,
Beth,
and I make sure I have the crayon turned up. I'm sorry?
You just gave me like 12 things I never heard of before.
Yeah, because that way.
Sometimes it's simple. It just
anybody can go grab
the color on the crayon,
a periwinkle crayon and go, oh, this is
like
the color of
periwinkle,
this
right?
shirt.
Yeah, right on the crayon. Yeah.
Yeah, and I put that in my description. I had a pair of pants today that I had no clue how to describe the color. There's just no way. And I put that in the description. It's difficult to describe this color. Please look at the photos, the color comparison. It wasn't purple. It wasn't pink. It wasn't burgundy, and it was weird, especially when you have those muted colors. You can say they're pink, but then somebody get them and say, these are more purple than they are pink, or this is more blue than it is green. So sometimes I use the color wheel, and then I also use a picture with the crayon. And I
always put in my description. I have you have the item specifics on eBay, and on my description, I usually have templates involved. And obviously, you guys are mostly experienced resellers, so you know to create templates to speed things up. But I'll put it right in the description. Again, I'm paraphrasing. The color may vary depending upon your smartphone device or your monitor. So please look at the pictures, and again, keep in mind the colors may vary.
Let me just grab my color wheel. You can get these at Hobby Lobby, and just turn it to the colors that you're, and just lay it on the fabric and take a photo. That's an Yvonne Thrifty Rich tip. I always like to give her that.
Okay, Yvonne.
And then this is 65 bottom. And this is the color. They call it blush. This is the color of the pants today.
Okay.
It matches almost.
It says right on the crayon blush.
It says on there blush.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, see right there, blush.
Yes.
I went upside down, but I couldn't describe it because it is pink, but it also looks purpley. So, and there wasn't a good purple in there, that matched it. So, Send that
You
tip
think
to
I'll send
Crayola.
some free crayons to Beth, Randy, if she sends that to tells Crayola, here's a way to market your crayons to
I
resellers?
still think that manicures should be tax deductible for resellers because we have, when you have your finger in the picture, that's the other tip I have. I'm not putting my finger in the picture anymore. What I'm doing is when I have a tag that's real funky, I just clip one of my binder clips on it and just pull the tag straight and take a photo. And that way my fingers I have to worry about if I've had a manicure or not.
Okay.
And if they see the clip, it's no biggie, right? It's just a clip, and I just keep I keep it flat. I just pull it real tight and take the photo. So
Yeah, I'm always like I don't want to get my pictures in there. I got big, chunky fingers. I'm like trying to pull the tag out. A lot of times I'll do double-sided tape. I'll take like Scotch tape and I'll
I've done
double-side
that
it and I'll
before.
put it so it's kind of
But I
sticks.
keep this. This is one of the things that I keep in the pocket of my apron now. So, or sometimes I'll just put it on here on my shirt, but my wife keeps finding them in the wash. So I've been trying to put it in my pocket. She's like, there's another clip in the washing machine. I'm like, ugh. And I also use these. That's another tip is when I'm processing my clothes, if there's a stain or a flaw, I take the clip and I put it on the stain or the flaw. And then I throw it in my to be, taken care of later thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, when I go through them to, I can find the stain quickly. I don't have to go, okay, I know there's a stain on this shirt somewhere or a pencil mark or something. And I can just take the clip off and then put this on it before I wash it. So that's a time saver to put these clips on there. So
okay, guys, I just want to see if there's any additional, last minute questions for Beth. I try to keep the show around an hour. I'm just going to do some housekeeping. And first thing I want to do is remind you that today is National Coffee Day. Beth does not drink coffee. I don't know why, but she does not drink coffee. So I'm actually going to go out and get my free cup of Wawa coffee. You hear me talk about Wawa all the time.
Look at you.
I'm going to go out and get my free cup of Wawa coffee because I've been drinking coffee here today, but I've been using my K-cups. I didn't leave the house. So I had to work on eBay. I had to work on the YouTube show and watch some videos, etc. So I didn't get my free coffee. So I'm going out today. So you have an opportunity to get your free cup of coffee today. Again, guys, I talk about it all the time. I'm not monetized on this channel. I'm offering, it's basically free. You don't pay YouTube unless you have YouTube, pay that. But anyway, if you're getting any kind of value, please consider helping me offset some of my expenses. I have, buy me a coffee, PayPal, and Cash App. There's also a link to Randy's website. I mentioned Randy earlier, where you can buy delicious coffee, spices, and candy. And Randy is kind enough to pay me a commission at no cost to you guys. So if you buy something from him, just please put AE when you're registering on his website. Again, that's in the description. All these are in the description section of the video. Just put AE after your name when you register for Randy's site. And again, guys, I have some Amazon links. Again, it doesn't cost you anything additional. I have some reseller things I use in my business. If you click on those links, again, you don't even have to buy those items. It just basically it cookies you for 24 hours. So if you're going to buy some shipping supplies for your reselling business, you're going to buy some food, whatever. I mean, I seem to buy something from Amazon at least once a month. Keep me in mind, Amazon will pay me a small commission. Doesn't cost you guys anything additional, and it kind of helps offset my expenses. And again, I want to remind you guys, before you leave, to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. And if you leave a comment after the video post, it'll help out. So
I would say thank you, Randy, and I hope you're holding on to those priority flat rate envelopes for me.
Okay. Look at Randy's comment.
Yeah.
When they said that Beth was full of it, who would have thought we were talking about or protest?
Who said I was full of it? Yeah, hang on to those priority flat rates.
Well, I said you did a great job, Beth. You did. You brought the fire today. You brought some tremendous. And I appreciate you. And guys, I always say how difficult it is to get someone to come on the show. And I don't know why. I think I'm like a nice guy, but anyway, Beth was kind enough to help me out. I needed somebody in the show, and I know Beth has a wealth of knowledge.
Hey, Chris. How are you?
Hey, there's Chris the Goose.
A little late, but
that's all right. I'll watch the replay.
Yeah. Someone was in here earlier.
Pardon me? Oh, yeah. Kimmy was here earlier. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on, Adam. It was a pleasure as always. Y'all paddle on, everyone. We're all in this business boat together.
Appreciate you guys. See you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Take care.
Bye.